like to ask Charlotte, please. Charlotte Dafoe.
I only have one offering tonight, so I'll have to do a long introduction, which is not unprecedented here. So, I'm often inspired by a line from something and quote things directly like that. And I happened upon a couple of books of poetry, one called Buffalo Dance, and the other is called When Winter Come. They're by Frank Walker. He started a group called Affrilation Poets, and he's from Kentucky, teaches at the university there. And I guess about the time of the 200th anniversary of the Lewis and Clark expedition that President Jefferson sent across the northern United States. It was just after they had made the Louisiana Purchase and basically doubled the size of the states in about 1800. And he sent this expedition. It was led by Lewis, a Captain Lewis, and a First Lieutenant Clark. And Clark took along with him his manservant from his plantation. And the manservant was a Negro slave, and his name was York. And he's documented in history, but not much is known about him. And so the poet, Frank Walker, has written these two books fictionalizing what York's reaction would have been to this journey that they took. The intent was to see if there was a waterway that would take them across the western United States through the area that wasn't claimed yet and find a water route to the Pacific Ocean. A lot of it was done on the Missouri River, which is enormous and long. And they were to send back specimens, botanical specimens and all that, so make lots of notes and make notes about the Aboriginal tribes that they encountered and all that sort of thing. Apparently, York made quite an impression because most of the Aboriginals hadn't seen a black man before, and they tried to scratch it off and it didn't come off. And I guess they hadn't seen somebody with kinky hair either, and I guess it got rather long, and so they thought he was like a buffalo, like a buffalo god, and because he had big shoulders and this, big mass of kinky hair, and they thought he was a buffalo god that got too close to the fire, and that's why his skin was dark. Anyway, it's a really interesting way to learn some history. A very interesting perspective that Walker has taken on York's being part of this expedition. For instance, he turned out to be a really good hunter, and the expedition was dependent upon the Indians helping them get food, and they really admired York's hunting skills. And for York, it was just unheard of that he, as a slave, would have a hunting knife. And so I just found it very fascinating. And one poem struck me, and it's in the second book, and it's the title of the second book, When Winter Come. But the name of the poem itself is False Impressions, and I want to read that before I read my own poem. And this is written as if it were the wife, the Indian wife, when they wintered over one place of York. And it goes, "When winter come, my people circle up and agree on the most important thing that happened in the year, an awful flood, an important battle, or the passing of a great warrior, and boil it down to a picture, scratch it out on rawhide, and charge the storyteller with remembering the details. The captains believed they impressed native people, with their power and guns and mirrors and coins and beads, but they didn't even earn a winter count. So that's the backdrop, and this is what I write. This is this light on? Okay. Get over here, it'll be better. So I titled it, When Winter Come. When winter come, what will be the count? Was it a good or a bad year? Was this year remarkable for the weather, the house finally finished, the passing of a dear friend, another gravely ill? When winter come, if only one image remained to represent the whole, what would it be? Some new sight beheld, some new insight revealed, letting go of some ancient angst, beginning to write again. Finally, when winter came, it was one particular smile, symbolic of lots of smiles and chatter and giggles, a smile big enough to fill the heart, a smile big enough to last a lifetime.